Hey guys, once again just wanted to very briefly promote TFA Rampage 101 for his upcoming autism awareness video reviews coming out this April. Once again, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link right over here on the right hand side of the screen. You'll click it, go directly to his channel. Please hit subscribe and let him know TFA sent you. On to the video! Special shout out and a huge thank you to every one of my super TF addicts on Patreon.
TFA 1024, where your entertainment will be transformed.
Bah weep grog now weep ninny bong my fellow addicts. This is TFA 1024, the Transformers Addict, coming to you with yet another TFA review. And much how we took a look at the Studio Series Voyager Class number 31 Battle Damage Megatron, today we move on with Wave 6 of Studio Series, starting off with the Transformers Studio Series number 37 Revenge of the Fallen Voyager Class Constructicon Rampage. And finally, after about 10 years of waiting, Rampage finally receives a figure that I honestly think he deserved in the very beginning of the toy line, as well as in the accurate color that he is. Granted, this is technically Skipjack, they're going by the name Rampage, which I think suits him a little better, in my personal opinion. But before we take a look at the figure itself, let's go ahead and take a quick look at the packaging in the standard Studio Series fashion that I've been doing. So here's the front. Here's the side, here's the other side, and I'd like to talk about this for a brief moment. While normally Studio Series goes ahead and puts the box art of the character, for the Constructicons they're all just getting Devastator, and as well as a actual Devastator insignia for where the Autobot insignia would go. So I just thought I'd point that out. And here we have the back of the box with your obligatory product shots, brief bio, cross sales, and more. And here we have Voyager Class Studio Series Rampage in his vehicle mode. I also hope you guys kind of like the perspective of these video reviews from now on, because this is how it's most likely going to be, because it looks a lot better, as opposed to just straight up and down. You're actually getting an angled down look. As you can see, Rampage is a red bulldozer, which he should have been from the very beginning, but I'm not going to complain about the original Rampage, because it was a good toy, despite being a little awkward. And at least this Rampage is able to be found in retail, as opposed to the Nest Global Alliance one that I never saw once at all. But hey, I'm happy we finally got our updated red Rampage, so yay! Happy Addict. And there's a lot of nice painting and molding detailing throughout this mode. You can see, you got some nice silver paint right there for the bucket, and some nice lighting detailing for the inside of it. You got some nice dark blue for the whole canopy section. You also got some black accents through here for like the top of the engine, the grill. You have that same black obviously for the Caterpillar treads. You have the silver right here for the internal cog and mechanisms of the Caterpillar treads. You got some black right here for vents as well. You got some cables. And all kinds of other technobabble that a machine of this caliber should have. So yeah. Now, of course, he does roll thanks to 3 wheels on the bottom of him, so if you want to, you can roll quite freely. Thanks to those wheels, so hooray for rolling red bulldozers. And, yeah, I mean, he's literally just a brick, which is ironic because he's a construction vehicle, and construction requires bricks. Yeah, I'll shut up now. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is for this mode. But we're not done just yet. One thing I do want to point out is for these little pieces right here, the pistons of the shovel, these do come off, and they do serve a purpose for later on, but as you can see, it's just a small clip, small peg to a port connection. And it is very reminiscent of his cannon that he used to threaten Sam with in the movie. And I will show off how that interacts with the robot mode later on. Now, he also does come with an accessory, but it's not anything beneficial to, say, like, the standard Transformers figures, like weaponry and such, but he does come with a stand for when you have him transformed into robot mode, because, again, he is literally a robot jackhammer. I mean, look at that design right there. You see that? He ain't got no legs. He ain't got a stand. That's why you need a stand. So there you go. Now for some brief size comparisons, here he is with the SS-76 Bumblebee mold. And you can see how they look together. And I think that's pretty good realistic scale. I mean, a bulldozer is pretty big compared to a standard car. Depending on the size of the bulldozer. Depends on which one you see in person. There are some pretty big ones out there, but you can see how they look together. Here he is with the Voyager class Wave 5 number 32 2007 Optimus Prime. You can see Prime is just a little bit longer, but he is a little bit bigger, so it's kind of a tie here. But I think they look good nonetheless. I think that's pretty good scale. Here he is with the previously reviewed Target exclusive Voyager class number 31 battle damaged Megatron. You see how they look together. Megatron's just a little bit longer. Just a little bit. For a future review, here he is with the Studio Series number 41 Deluxe class Scrap Metal. The first toy of Scrap Metal ever. So this is very nice to see. And you can see how they look together. And I think when we get the rest of the Constructicons, they're going to look beautiful together. Because if this is any indication of what we're getting in the future, I'm excited. And here he is with his old, very old figure, Deluxe class Rampage. And this thing is not bad, but this thing also did not age well. So you can see how they look. And I honestly prefer this one. Again, I'm a sucker for red. And I also like a nice Voyager class Decepticon, so I'm calling this guy Skipjack from now on. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. So there you go. There is that. So with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get Rampage from looking like this to revealing the battle-loving Constructicon within. And I am super happy that we have finally got Rampage done in the appropriate color scheme that he deserved so long ago. Granted, the original Rampage wasn't bad, but it was far from good. And I'm also really happy he finally has his accurate-looking color scheme. Because again, I'm a sucker for red. And he's covered from head to mono-toe in it. And he looks really good. And speaking of overall body look and everything, the painting and the sculpting on this figure is absolutely gorgeous. Once again, I'd like to say, Hasbro has been doing a phenomenal job with really putting in a lot of time and effort into the sculpting, the molding details of each and every Studio Series figure. Even if some are repaints and remolds, but hey, that's nothing new to the Transformers brand. So stop your whining. As you can see, you got some nice, beautiful silver metallic paint right here for the top of his neck, as well as what would be his eyebrows. As well as the lower portion of his mouth and jaw, even on the inside of it as well. Which is very nice. You also have some nice blood red optics picked out, and some nice red as well. You also have his black, standard black plastic paint looking thing right here for what's gonna be making the inside of his face, because you can see it's kind of sectioned out in the art, like he kind of just has open gashes, so hey, looks cool. You also have some more of that nice silver paint concealed within the robot mode as these like little grinders, as these pistons, and these giant pistons. You have these gears picked out in silver paint. You also have some more of that picked out right here on the inside of the internal of his caterpillar treads, as well as the fingers. You have some more of that silver paint picked out right here for some cables and other technobabble, as well as his giant drill jackhammer pogo leg. And a lot of nice molding detailing to really make that look as accurate as possible. And I think they did a phenomenal job. So there you go. And yeah, I mean, he is Ghibli, but he's a Constructicon, so I mean, you can't really complain too much. They have to work with such a weird design, and I think they did what they could do to the best of their ability to make it work. I would have liked it if somehow this whole shovel section could, like, compress more against his back or fold down just to give him a little extra back room, or like this could compress or like fold over to make his mono leg just a little thicker, because he does look kind of skinny, but then again, so does the character art. So again, not going to complain. It's not anything major, and it doesn't take anything away from the figure either, so why complain about it? And he does also have weapons. If you really want to, you can take his caterpillar treads and fold them out like whips, like he had in the movie. And they're just on three different hinges. So there's a hinge right here at the base, there's a hinge right here in the midsection, and there's a hinge right here that only goes outward and a little bit inward. I guess it does go inward as well, to give him his tread whips. And these pieces I mentioned earlier, these are able to just pop right off, and you can actually give him his cannons. Now note, in the instructions for this figure, it is not included or mentioned anywhere that you can do this. So I really do appreciate that Hasbro and Takara went ahead and just threw this in there for the sake of, hey, he needs weapons, you're going to be spending $30 on this thing. And I think that's really cool. I mean, if a character always needs to have weapons, there's no doubt about it. You know, you're not just going to pay for the toy itself, you're going to pay for the toy plus accessories plus a backdrop. And I think they really made it worth its money, in my personal opinion. You can disagree with me respectfully in the comments, but in my personal opinion, I think he's worth the money. And you are not going to change my mind, because I am entitled to my own opinion, as are you. But now you have him with his cannons in robot mode, and now he's ready to go terrorize Sam and his parents to get the Matrix. So there you go. There is that. Now, articulation for Rampage is very simple, yet very intricate at the same time. I don't know how they did it, but they did it. So his neck is on a double joint, or rather a regular joint. I think it's a double hinge joint. No, it's just the one. My bad. So it is on a regular joint. You can tilt it up a little bit, but it will force itself back down, so don't do that, or else you're going to break something. But you can make him look all the way down, but that's mainly for transformation. So, and we all know what happened in vehicle mode. You just saw his head poking out, but, you know, what can you do? The head is also on a ball joint, so it can look up that far, can look down that far, which is very nice. It is also on a side-to-side hinge, so, you know, he can shake his head no in disapproval. So if you want to live, nope, he's going to kill you anyway. The arms are on or the shoulders rather, are on a butterfly joint hinge, so you can move in and out if you really want them to. They're also on a 360-degree rotational joint, as well as a mushroom peg to accommodate that movement. So you can do that. You can also move the arms in and out as well. Moving the tread whips out of the way, you can also rotate his arm 360 degrees, which is very nice. No elbow bend, unfortunately. His fingers are on a rotational joint that can rotate all the way around, but in robot mode, why would you want to do that? And the fingertips are also on small hinges, which is very nice. And then these two little fingers, or two thumbs, are on a friction hinge. I want to say it's a friction hinge. Yeah, so that'll pop out if you're not careful. You can also move these side shoulder pieces, which are for bulldozer mode, but me personally, I like keeping them on the back, just to give him some extra armament if you really want to. Use your imagination, it's a thing. He also has a very nice ab crunch, due to the ratchet joint 4 transformation, so he has a very nice ab crunch, accommodated by a nice ratchet. And the waist itself, once you move the arms out of the way, can rotate 360 degrees, and once you rotate it, you are greeted by the sound of symphony of 1,000 ratchets. And that sounds so satisfying. And if you really want to, he can wiggle his monotoe, which is on a hinge, but that's mainly for transformation. So there you go. There is that. And you know what happens when he's over here on this side. It's time for some size comparisons. So here is Rampage standing next to the 1976 Camaro Mode Bumblebee mold. You see how they look together. And I think this works relatively well. I'm not necessarily sure how big Rampage was compared to Bumblebee in Revenge of the Fallen. And I do think that I'll probably post something on my community tab because, hey, I have that, with Revenge of the Fallen Bumblebee standing next to Studio Series Rampage to just give you a better sense of scale among the two different toy lines, as well as the two different character designs, because he was relatively small in this form. Here he is, taking place of number 32 Optimus, which is going to be the standard on how I do Voyager class Optimus size comparisons. Here he is next to the number 5 Voyager class Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime. You see how they stand next to each other? There we go. So you see how the leader of the Autobots stands up to a subordinate of the Constructicons. I think that works. I think that works well. Here he is next to his battle-damaged Lord and Master of the Decepticons, number 31, Megatron. See how they scale together, and I'm just going to tilt this up just a little bit. You see how they look together. And I think that's pretty good scale as well. Here he is with his wave mate of the deluxe class scale. Here he is with number 41 Scrap Metal. And if this is what we're going to have to look forward to till we get High Tower, Long Haul, Scavenger, Scrapper, Mixmaster, and Leader class Overload, then I am excited for the future. Because the Constructicons are looking bright. And here he is with his very old, outdated toy from Revenge of the Fallen. Deluxe class Rampage. And I gotta say, really prefer this version as opposed to this. I like this, because he's technically a spider monster, which, obvious. But I also really prefer the red as opposed to this yellow. This corn yellow. This works for me a lot more than this. There is that. And like all Studio Series figures, he does come with a backdrop specifically sporting the scene where Devastator first debuted in Transformers Revenge of the Fallen. And one thing I just want to point out, this stand does have a rotating leg, so if you ever do want to pose him on the stand, that leg will fold in to accommodate better stability. So there you go. So my overall thoughts on Studio Series Rampage is he's quite possibly one of the best through the Voyager scale. Granted, Megatron is phenomenal, Optimus is okay at best, Brawl is great, Bone Crusher is great, and Starscream is Starscream. He's a good-looking Starscream, though, and obviously number 38 Optimus is pretty good. Granted, I don't have him. I do plan on getting him soon, but he's not a necessity right now. I do thoroughly enjoy Rampage. The fact that he is finally here in his appropriate color scheme, as well as in appropriate robot mode, is just such a treat. I did not think it was possible Hasbro would actually do the Movieverse Constructicons, because talking about my good buddy and co-admin Cyborg Raptor, I've always said it would be really cool if we got Studio Series Constructicons. Lo and behold, Hasbro heard us, and they gave us what we want, and we're getting Devastator as well. Which makes me all the more excited. But focusing mainly on Rampage, the transformation to his vehicle and robot mode is honestly a lot of fun. It's not too simple, but it's not too mind-perplexingly complex. The articulation on this guy isn't too bad either. Granted, on my copy, his hinges are a little loose on the joints, and the joint up here for his shoulders is a bit loose as well. But I kind of feel like that's not really a big thing. It just means you can't get him into that many cool poses. It baffles me how Prime vs. Prime managed to get him in such a cool pose and share it on his Instagram. But hey, what can you do? Just beware, your mileage may vary. And the painting and the sculpting on the figure is quite possibly some of the best painting and sculpting on a Transformer figure I've ever seen. I've been saying that a lot recently, but Hasbro's just been doing that well. But as an overall recommendation standpoint, I'd say only get this guy if you're a fan of the movies, or you're a fan of the Movieverse Constructicons, or you're just a fan of a Red Rampage. Because while he's not necessarily a necessity to your collection, he is a very fine addition to it, as well as a beautiful start to your Movieverse Studio Series Constructicons, and a beautiful addition to your Movieverse Decepticons. So pick them up if you want to, because I recommend, so you can decide. But that's pretty much all there is to say, my fellow addicts. So once again, a big thank you to TFA Addict 4891 for hooking me up with him, as well as number 40 and 41's Shatter and Scrap Metal. Reviews coming soon. And also a big thank you to all of you who have managed to watch every single one of my video reviews all the way to the very end. It means a lot to me, and it tells me that I'm doing a good job, so please keep doing what you do. I appreciate and love you. And stay tuned for more video reviews coming in the near future. And by near future, I mean next week. So this has been the video review for the Transformers Studio Series number 37, Voyager Class Rampage, and I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. And please remember, my fellow addicts, until next time, to get addicted, stay addicted, and TF Addicts for life! This is TFA 1024, the Transformers Addict, rolling out till all are one.